You know, look, women all day long. I want a man who's 6'4". I want a man who makes six figures. No one wants to talk about. I want a man who's emotionally sound. Money comes and goes.
Never.
I mean, it's important.
Yeah.
But height. Okay, maybe you're just physically attracted to tall men. I get that, but what really, really matters.
That substance, man.
Is like this. Is this person okay emotionally?
Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to our channel if you enjoy our content. I can't believe we're doing the show right now.
All right.
This weekend at the hotel is the March Madness. Like basketball tournaments going on. It happens every year. I forgot it landed on this day. And every hotel in Indianapolis was packed, including ours. And we were short housekeepers. So I did some housekeeping work with Kara. The struggle. We did, I don't know how many beds you even made.
Hundreds.
I don't know how many toilets I scrubbed.
Hundreds.
Y'all, when I tell you, and then I had to, so I got off at 7 o'clock in the morning, right? So I work 11 to 7. And then I came back at 10 a.m. to do the housekeeping. And I went back into work at 11 to 7 again and then did that again.
You must be out of your goddamn mind.
It's fun though. I get to work with you.
Yeah, it's always fun working with Kara though. Kara and I work really good together. Like whenever we have a job together, like we just knock things out. Like we just get things done. But man, we did like 30 rooms a day. Can't call us lazy. But I said all that to say this. Tip your housekeepers.
If they're good housekeepers.
Yeah, if they're good housekeepers, y'all tip your housekeepers. People don't be tipping their housekeepers. Please do. That is some hard work, you guys. So let me answer an email, a viewer's email. I will pull this up. Hello, sisters. I'm with a guy that I like. We've been in an official relationship for about 6 months now, but he isn't the type to open up. So it's a bit hard to progress. Have either of one of you dealt with this? Curious subscriber from London. Cheerio. They say cheerio in London? Mm-hmm. Okay, cheerio. What you're dealing with is an emotionally unavailable man. That's what you're dealing with right now. Right? So, yeah, this has happened to me before. Twice. There was the first time it happened, I didn't smarten up. The second time I did. Let me just say this. Even to get a man to open up and share feelings is like trying to get into Fort Knox. It is difficult, right? Mm-hmm. Because they're not like, they don't open up. Majority of men don't really open up like that. Like it's hard to get them to that point. So you really just can't get them there. They have to want to do it, right? Yeah. So it's I feel like it's one of those things where if a man doesn't open up to you, I mean, you said you're in an official relationship now. The relationship's been going on now for 6 months, so I'm assuming, well, actually I've talked to you a little bit, you were dating for a while, and then he wanted you to be, like, he's the one who wanted to take you off the market, and now he's not wanting to open up, he's not wanting to give you more, and yeah, so he's emotionally unavailable, so it's not really too much you can do with that. I feel like women sometimes want to try to change men, and talking with you a little bit, I can see that you probably are falling in that category of woman that kind of thinks you can change a man. And we've all done this before. All women have done this at some point or another. The first time this happened with me, the guy was, same thing. He was like wanting to take me off the market. And, so everything was good. And he wasn't opening up anyways. The whole time we were like dating. And then when he went to the next level, I didn't know I think that's back in the time where I didn't really understand men, and I just knew that I wasn't being fulfilled in the relationship because of him not wanting to open up. So, but I just kind of let it go on, hoping that I can be able to change the situation. Can't change anybody, found that out later. And then that ended, right? So then the second time this happened, it was different. I was dating a guy, and he was wanting to, again, take this to another level. We had not been in a relationship yet, but he was wanting to take it there. And I was explaining to him, you have not opened up emotionally to me, or like you haven't shown me any like that next point of feeling, and that it was called trust.
Right.
And so you haven't really opened up to me, but you want to take the next level. So I said, so before we even waste each other's time, we're not going to do this. Like, I don't want to be in a relationship with you because you're not wanting to take that next level. And women need that. And I think men do too, but they have to want to do it. So I don't know. I have been through that twice. And the first time I wasn't smart enough yet. And the second time I smartened up. I never even entertained a relationship with the guy because he wasn't wanting to do that. I can't be with somebody that doesn't trust to have real conversations with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't. To me, men's emotions and trust go hand in hand. I don't think men are good. I don't like men who are too emotional, like they cry all the time.
Right.
I'm not a crier all the time. So I don't. So if I'm not going to do it, I know. If I'm not going to do it all the time, I'm not expecting men to. But also, I don't like overly emotional men.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's one thing. But in order for me to be in a relationship with you, you have to open up to me. Because I think that if you're not doing that, some part of you that doesn't trust me, or there's something you don't want me to know about you.
Mm-hmm. That's what I think. Yeah.
And so if I feel like that, I can't bring my wall down.
Right.
In order to do that. When women get into relationships and they haven't seen a side of a man, I always ask why would you do that? Because you're going to get yourself hurt if they're not able to bring. Because that's the one thing, men aren't going to show they're not going to show their emotional side. That's just not what men do.
Yeah, right.
So the thing that sets you apart from other women is that they feel comfortable enough to do that for you. And if they're not doing that for you but calling you their girlfriend, I always think then you need to give me that. That's what separates me. From dates.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
That was the point of him asking you to.
Because there are a lot of men who are just used to being in relationships.
Yeah.
They can be in emotionless relationships because they just don't want to be alone.
Yeah, and I think what's happening is that you're realizing you're knowing that you're now requiring more, and I don't know if you didn't like sense. Well, no, you said you did that. He wasn't typed to open up. So that's the thing, is when you transition from dating to relationship, and now you guys are together in that way. There's that was the point of dating. That's why dating is important. See, that's why I think dating is important. I feel like there's that certain part of the dating where he should have been showing you some emotion in some way, or some kind of trust with his life, his feelings and stuff. And if he wasn't doing that, and still asked you to get into the relationship, it's like, I want to say you kind of shot yourself in the foot, but he showed you. He was the whole time, he wasn't really being emotional. I guess I'm not saying emotional, but like not sharing. He's saying emotional. Yeah. I think with men, what I want to say is sharing things with you. And when they don't do that, there's a part of them that doesn't trust. Now we can go through a dictionary of reasons why he may not be opening up to you. Okay, we can say there can be a lot of reasons why, but that doesn't really matter. The why doesn't matter. It's it's the other part of it that he's not.
Yeah, there's two types of men I stay away from: men who talk too much, and then men who don't talk at all.
Yeah, right.
There's a middle ground. Again, I always come back to middle ground on everything because I think everybody goes to extremes when they talk about something. Oh, a man that talks too much, is a man to not be trusted. Because a lot of men will say that men who talk too much are usually aren't about anything. That's true. Yeah. That is absolutely true. But then there are the men who don't talk at all. You know what I mean? And
it's suspicious. Right. It seems very
And so, dodgy. You find out men who are on the down low because that's the reason why they don't talk a lot.
Yeah.
You find out men who are just in a really hurt relationship with someone. They just got out of one. And they don't want to talk because they're not really emotionally invested in you. They just don't want to be alone.
Right.
You have to be careful about people who just don't want to open up.
Right.
There is something wrong with you when you don't open. That has nothing to do with being a man or a woman. That just has some. If you're gonna put yourself in a position to be someone's boyfriend or man or
mate,
husband,
like spouse,
you have to then open up. If you're not gonna do that, I'm not sitting here saying we got to sit there and cry and that's not what I mean. I got to know about you.
Yeah. Well, this is what was happening with the second person that I was referring to. We were just dating, but he was wanting, he wanted to be in a relationship with me. He was wanting a whole relationship and everything, and I'm like, yeah, but you're very, you're not sharing. We've been seeing each other for a little while now, not like a year or not. I just caught it early, right? I'm like, but you're not really, you don't go into depth. Like, you're not giving me anything, but you want to be in a relationship. I would be crazy to do that because I'm going to be sitting there in this oddly, uncommunicated. We're not communicative. You know what I mean? So what would be the point to be with you if I'm not able to communicate with you? And it just really was. This is a guy who, he had money and stuff. So that was his thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he was really, he felt like, I think in his pride, well, I found out this later, is that in his other relationships, that was just accepted. He was providing for the woman, which is great. It's a good aspect to having a man, for a male to have. But they didn't require, like, communication like that because they were getting all the stuff. And if I'm going to be in a relationship, it's not about the stuff. It's more. It's like about the relationship part. I said, and that means communication. That means opening up. That means telling me about stuff, and feeling like I'm like it's safe enough to talk to me. If you don't feel that way, I always feel like men that do this are either they obviously don't trust, or they're untrustworthy themselves.
Or they're uncomfortable with themselves.
Yeah, right. I'm saying they may just have that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you have to get to a point where you're comfortable with yourself. Yeah. You got to be comfortable with your emotions, whether you're a man or a woman. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get away with saying, I'm a man, we don't express emotions, so I'm just not going to show them. That you don't get to do that.
Right.
You have to express that to me. So it's just like my last boyfriend was emotional shutdown, and I broke up with him mostly because of that. Yeah. You know what I mean? He was another one. He was what we call high value. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I don't deal with men who don't know how to open. I don't trust you. Yeah. When you don't give me, and he was willing to keep going.
That's what. Yeah.
He was willing to go shoot to the moon with me, but he just had this way about him, and I didn't like it. Now I would say again, I am someone who is not. I don't throw my emotions out there. Mm-hmm. I'm not someone who's just emotional all the time. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? For a woman, I'm just really not. I'm not like that. But I will never put myself in a relationship with someone and they don't know who I am. Yeah. As a person, they don't know. I'm definitely emotional. I'm a woman, so I'm definitely emotional. But I'm just not one of those women that have to cry all the time or need someone to emotionally bring them up all the time. You know what I mean? But I'm never going to be in a relationship with someone and they just don't know who I am. Right. I'm just a brick wall. What's the point?
They shouldn't want
that. Be single. Well, I mean, what is the point with being, and also there are a lot of men who think that if they shut down emotionally, it will actually bring women to them. And it is true that a lot of women date men like this. Yeah. Because women have a tendency to be in the nurturing stance where we want to try to help you or fix you. And if you don't express anything to us, then we start to wonder why. Yeah. And then that mother instinct starts to come. Now we got to start trying to pry open your brain and try to figure you out. And a lot of times women get caught up in that. Yeah. We get caught up in trying to figure out a man. And I think you can waste time doing that.
And I think just speaking like this, just chatting with you briefly, like I get the feeling like it was almost very clear that you're more of a fixer upper. Mm-hmm. Like you're one of those women that's a fixer upper. You get the guy and you're trying to make him. You think you can change his behavior through yours, I guess. And it's like, I know that probably sounds easy, but that's not how it works at all. Like it's just not. Don't waste your time on that part because trying to change somebody it's just impossible. You can't do it. And I think that, like Kara was saying, like there's that part of you that's going to feel like, well, if I can nurture him into, sharing his feelings and I know he's a guy, it's not going to happen like that. There's no nurturing to happen. But if a guy is not if he's not trusting you with information about him, whatever information it is, again, whatever it is, if he's not trusting with that information, then there's something going on with him that he's just obviously closed off, at least to women. As much as we know right now is that at least to women he's closed off. And if a man is closed off emotionally like that when he's trying to be in a relationship, you will fall in the cracks of their life. You will not. You won't fit anywhere in his life because he's not letting you in.
There are women that are in relationships that have been married to men for years, and they just don't. They're just They go to work, they come
Yeah.
home, and they don't have anything to say to anybody.
Yeah.
It's not till their kids grow up and leave the house when it's just the two of them again, where they realize, I want to get a divorce.
Right.
Because I'm just not going to sit around here with a man that doesn't talk. That happens a lot,
Yeah,
you know
it
what I mean, in
does.
relationships where empty nesters start up, and then you
They
know, that's what they
realize,
say,
yeah.
that your kids aren't going to fix anything.
Because
Because eventually they're going to leave. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I don't, you know, you got to be careful about trying to be like a fixer-up. If you don't come into my life with me already satisfied with, you know, just who you are naturally, then we're not meant for each other. That's just how I see things now. I don't try to fix men. I'm not interested in that. If you are
Yeah.
not coming into
Right.
a relationship, and then to me that just means that we are not either you're not ready, or we are just definitely not, you know, what's the word? Compatible.
Compatible.
We're just not compatible. And I think if a lot of women thought that way and just said, we're not compatible, it would make men change, because they'd have to, or else they'd just be sitting there single too. A lot of men don't want to be alone.
Yeah.
They don't. Men don't want to be alone either. You know what I mean? But you don't go into a relationship and then try to pry open
Yeah, it doesn't
some
work.
guys. You know, if he doesn't want to talk to you, it's because he doesn't want to, and that's fine. But you're not going to sit with me and I'm not going to know who you are. That's just you know what I mean?
Like if you catch something early, like I feel like don't. Like I don't like I will. Karen and I will never tell you to break up with
No.
anybody or stay. We don't.
Some
stay
reason
with
you're
them.
together.
Yeah, we will never tell anybody to do that, because for one reason is an important reason is that sometimes I feel like when women like you who have questions like this, you know, or just going through something like this, sometimes I feel like women have to go through this and get hurt. You can be aware of men that are like this next time, because there's women who just don't want to leave. Now that again could be a lot of reasons. Maybe you don't want to be alone. You know what I mean? And you just want to stick in a relationship because you're here. You've now invested time with this guy on the dating scene, and now this whole thing, and now you're up in this relationship situation. It's like, and you're like, I got one. You know what I mean? I got one, so you know, I'll just work with this. So then fine. If you're going to work with this, understand what working with this means. It means that he may never come through for you. So you could be investing weeks, months, years, you know, on this person that you know is emotionally unavailable to you, and you require that. And I think that a lot of women with men like this, you have to require that. When you know, it's interesting with men, because when you trying to capture their heart is I'm telling y'all, it's like the hardest thing to do, because they literally do not do that normally. And so when they do open up to you, that means that they do fully trust you.
But that's why another
yeah.
reason when we say that there are the rules when it comes to relationship, why it is better for men to say they love you first.
Yeah, right.
It's not because you love them less or anything. It's because it's harder for men to say that than it is for women to say that. There are men who say it just because they want to sleep with you, and those are losers.
Right.
But the average man who's sane, it is really hard for them to say words like "I love you." So it's easy for us to say it. So it is sometimes better when they say it, because that's part of them opening up to you. That's part of them, you know, asking when they ask you out. All of that to them is them being vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because if they ask you out, they could get turned down.
Right.
But it's almost like men kind of have to be in that position to be pulled.
Yeah.
And that's something that we can do, that we do for them, is we allow them to come for us. Right. And if you don't do that, then what ends up happening, like that's what I'm saying, when women start asking men out on dates, they start paying for dates, they start, trying to figure out, you start shifting the power.
Yeah. When a man is not opening up to you, he's telling you something there, or he's trying to be with you without having to do the other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and I think that with women, we have to stop. You really need to catch your chips in on this. You know what I mean? And that's a lot of times women don't want to do that. They don't want to just walk away. And you know, like I was saying, even with the last guy I was talking about, I didn't even. It didn't matter how much money he made. That part did not matter to me at all. I was like, I'm looking for someone who is going to be, we're going to be a couple. That's the point. You know what I mean? We're going to be a couple. We're in a relationship. It's like, I feel like it's just like almost just a waste of time. You'll find out later, but again, sometimes women have to go through this.
The hardest thing for people to do in general is to accept.
Yeah.
And I accept people.
Yeah.
The instant, you know what I mean? I used to not, but you know, later in my life, I
show me who
accept
you
you.
are,
If,
yeah.
if I say I want to be married and you say you don't, that's fine.
That's
I'm
fine.
okay with that. We're done.
Yeah. This has happened.
You know what I'm saying? I always say that, you know, like I
Right.
said on one of my last videos, that when you're decisive, you get decisiveness from other people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you play this, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then people know they can
Maybe.
play you like a violin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't get played that way.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just like, I'm not saying that everything has to go my way, but you are going to open up to me. And if you're not going to open up to me, then why are we doing this?
Right.
How would you like it if I just didn't do that for you?
What
What if I just did something that's something you expected from women to do, and then I just didn't want to do it just because I don't want to? I'm saying, like, there's nature for a reason. Women are very nurturing, and women are we're also, we talk a lot, and we all want to know we are all into our feelings because that's something we do. Men aren't like that, and that's fine. But when a man comes to you and says they want to make something official, okay, well, official comes with some other rules.
And they know that.
And they know that.
Yeah, that's another
Right.
part of it. That's another part of it, is that they also know that. So they know what that women are going to want that side of them. So if they're not willing to do that, and you're just allowing that to happen, then you know what you're doing? You're breaking your own heart, because he already showed you. He already showed you.
Right.
So everything else outside of the way he's behaving is all on you, girl. It's all on you. Because if he's not willing to do it, he's saying no, you're still in a relationship, he's fine. He's like, look, I think he has some stuff that he hasn't worked through, obviously. If someone is not opening up to somebody when you say you want to be in a relationship with them, there's some stuff he hasn't worked through in his life. That's
I mean,
not about you.
let's just say you want to be in a relationship with him. He goes, you say, "Oh, okay, yeah, I want to be your girlfriend, but I don't want to have sex. I only want to have it once a week because I'm uncomfortable with that."
Yeah, I'm uncomfortable.
You think he still want to be with you?
Yeah.
You still think he would make you his girlfriend? No.
No,
No
he's
man's
not
going to
do
be with
that.
a woman that says, "I don't want to have sex with you because I'm uncomfortable."
Right.
So even if he's uncomfortable being emotional, well, if you were to go that way
Yeah.
and say, "Oh, well, I'm uncomfortable having sex, so let's just like do it once a week."
Right.
Believe me,
Right.
he would make a decision. He would go, "No, I can't be with you."
Right. It's true.
You know what I'm saying?
It's more simple than you think.
It is more simple.
Yeah.
Like, don't play this game.
When we did that video about the it's complicated. One thing it's called, it's complicated, is why I named it. It's funny because we do complicate things when they don't need to be. You know what I'm saying? Like your situation's very clear. So your situation is not, it's not gray area here. This is a clear situation. You are involved with an emotionally unavailable man, and you are continuing to be involved with an emotionally unavailable man. And so you wrote us, so you know that that's odd.
That's a problem.
This isn't like you're like, is that weird? I mean, yeah, we've dealt with that before. I'm gonna tell you the truth. It's just he's just going through something. He's not trusting you. He's not trusting you with information, or I don't know. We don't know the reason, right?
Yeah.
But this is the good part, is that you don't need to know the reason. You don't even know. Don't rack your brain trying to figure out what's going on in his life and what happened. Don't even, because you can't even break through that wall. He's not going to show it to you. So you're never going to find out why. He has to change. And you do have to change. And,
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about red pill and MGTOW and all that.
Yeah,
Some
right.
people need to go their own way.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. This is why I say there's nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
Some people, look, I said I went my own way for 10 years.
Yeah.
And it changed
Right.
me. You know what I mean? And a lot of people, like this guy, I don't know him, but a lot of people, they do need to go their own way. Some people are just used to being in relationships. They don't really, it's not that they're all in love with you, and they might be, but sometimes people just really don't. I know women who are never single.
Me too.
They're just never single. It's not that they're all in love. They romanticize everything, but the truth is they just don't want to be alone. You have to weigh out that. I mean, if you're willing to stick to this, then you're gonna have to talk to him in a real way where you mean it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
That's
not with this
100%
sort of
true.
open up. I need you to open up. Don't be a nag.
No,
but you know what I mean.
yeah.
But just say, look, women all day long. I want a man who's 6'4". I want a man who makes six figures. No one wants to talk about. I want a man who's emotionally sound. I want a man
available
who,
to me.
I want a man who doesn't cheat on me. I want to, you know what I mean? Those things matter more. Money comes and goes.
Never.
I mean, it's important.
Yeah.
But height. Okay, maybe you're just physically attracted to tall men. I get that, but What really, really matters
That substance, man. It's
is like this: is this person okay emotionally? And people don't.
They don't
think about that.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, they don't.
It's true, but you need to make it cut and dry though. Like I did with the person I'm talking about. It was a very easy conversation. I try to uncomplicate things as much as possible. And also by nature, I'm just someone who loves clarity. You know, so if I'm able to make a situation clear, I make it clear. So I told this person, listen, there will be no progression of this relationship. Although he was asking me he wanted to take it to the next level, I'm like, there will be no progression because you're not willing to open up. So you've already showed me we're in the dating stages. We haven't gone too far. We're good. You know what I mean? I was like, so just part as friends and it's okay. But you in the future, whoever you end up being with, you need to figure out what's going on with you where you can't open up to women. I mean, I'm not sure exactly what your journey is going to be with this person, but we women, we break our own hearts most of the time because we continue to put up with this type of behavior.
Men are not your projects.
Yeah,
they are your relationships. If they come in with issues, because we all have it, you have to make sure that the issues are not so bad that they're going to make your life worse.
Right.
Because you're supposed to be okay by yourself. When people come into your life, they're just supposed to upgrade you of what's already happening. Right. So you don't need someone there who's just there.
Yeah. Like,
you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense to be with someone who you just can't talk to.
Right.
The instant you can't talk to someone, that relationship is over. That means that you're either intimidated by something or you yourself are just completely insecure and you can't put your foot down. Yeah, my like litmus test for relationships is how we are when we're just alone.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Because I'm a very introverted person anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be out all the time and going out to every restaurant in the world and every, you know what I mean? So once the spotlight's off and we're just us two.
Right.
And we're just laying in bed, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
I'm talking about no sex. I'm not talking about sex. I mean, when we're not having sex.
Mentally,
what are we doing? Are we having coffee together? Are we talking? You know what I mean?
Right.
When I'm having my coffee in the morning, are we having a normal conversation? Do I kind of know you? Can I think, can I gonna get the, remember we're watching that movie with Barbara Streisand, she said, I kind of like a man who knows me. It was Mirror Has Two Faces. Again, quoting this movie again, as far as you're just like, I kind of like the fact that someone
knows how to take my coffee,
knows how I take my coffee, knows me. And if I want that from a man, it's because I want to be that for him too. Right. I want to know you.
I like it. I'm excited to know you. So if you're not excited to, give me part of your heart, then you got to work on that, and I'll move on. I'll get out of your life.
We're talking about emotionally weepy men. Right. Like you don't want a man who's over emotional anyway. That's
y'all. Have y'all ever seen those men that just
cry too much?
They are like, but what you're saying in the beginning though, just talk too much.
Like, I mean, I don't like when men talk too much. I don't really trust men who have a lot to say all the time. You know what I mean? Because I always get a pimp vibe. Always talk. You know what I mean? Because that's how pimps are. They talk and talk and talk because they don't want you to think. They just want you to react. So that happens like salesmen. Like if you go to a car dealership, car dealership, they just talk and talk and talk because they want to just keep you focused on the goal of selling something. And I always feel like that with men who talk too much. They're always trying to sell you them. They're hiding something. They're trying to sell you an image of them, and because they don't want you to see who they really are.
Right.
And then there are men who don't talk at all, and those are men who have secrets. And I don't like that. You know what I mean? I like emotionally sound and balanced men who know how to talk, who has emotional strength. So in case because I'm a woman. So I'm going to have emotional problems sometimes, and I'm going to need you to be emotionally strong.
Right.
That's why women sort of like men. It's because they are emotionally.
Well,
when they are, because they are emotionally. Their masculinity gives us a place to put our femininity, our emotional self. But if you're just going to be quiet, well, I mean, I could be single.
Men, if you want to sound off to this young lady and let her know what it means when you're like that, like when you're emotionally, because we just tell women, we just try to help women understand as a woman what you're going through emotionally. Because we've all been through that, right? But we cannot tell you what a man
why he's quiet. I don't know why.
Men may know men more than that. I know it's an individual basis; they may not be able to. But if you can sound off, let her know. As men, I'm not going to speak for men. But you know, but yeah, but if anything, just don't break your own heart. But let her know. Leave some comments below. And again, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel if you like our content, and we will see you on Friday. Bye.